It is not beyond our power to create a world in which all children have access to a good education. Nelson Mandela. Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Malcolm X. Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. James Baldwin. Educational leaders in this time are charged with the task of ensuring that all students, no matter the support at home, their learning abilities, or deficiencies, have access to a good education. This is a challenge that can be achieved if it is faced head on with a clear vision and a collective effort, and it must be accomplished to ensure the future of our society. In high school, at the age of 16, I got my driver's license and bought a 1988 Toyota Camry for $50. I used it to deliver newspapers with my dad. Every morning I got up at 2 a.m., rain or shine, to deliver those papers. I imagine being a principal will be much like this experience. I will be proud of my accomplishments and what my service has done for others, but I know it will be an arduous journey. Growing up, I didn't even want to be a teacher. My mother was a teacher, and I watched her stress and struggle for what I thought was very little in return. Now, I and both my sisters find ourselves in the very position we spent our lives thinking we could avoid being teachers. Once I finally stopped running away from being a teacher, I decided to be a PE teacher and combat the childhood obesity epidemic. This was influenced by the death of my 22-year-old cousin from type 2 diabetes and morbid obesity. As a teacher, I've participated in extracurricular activities and leadership roles. You could barely keep me away from the school building. In the past 8 years, I have come across students that face so many obstacles, it seemed like it would be impossible for them to focus on their education. I grew up with all the support and care a child could ever wish for. Many students, like my cousin, did not. I began to realize that what caused my cousin's death went beyond poor nutrition and lack of physical activity, just as students' negative behavior and low achievement go beyond lack of discipline and motivation. And I want to be in a position to do more about that. When I taught PE and health, I don't think there was a student I didn't come across in some fashion. In class, we discussed topics such as drug and alcohol abuse, mental health disorder, and early sexual activity. Sometimes they told me stories that were too horrifying and painful to even fathom. These students must be empowered to take what control they can of their lives and to forge a better future. And teachers have to be empowered to teach them so they can do just that. Due to civil unrest in our society, some people are calling for community policing. I think a better push would be for community educating. As it says, it takes a village to raise a child, but I would counter that it takes children to raise a village. Communities with children, schools, recreation center, and other means of collaboration are seen as the most appealing. Forming strong community partnerships would be important to fill the gaps needed to meet students' basic needs, as well as making resources available to provide supplementation and incentives to students, their families, and staff. Academic achievement will give students the skills they need to be productive citizens in an ever changing global society. Cultivating interest in areas beyond literacy and mathematics is beneficial. Enriching opportunities, addressing all of the areas of multiple intelligence, can spark an interest in learning and a zest for life. Testing and accountability affect many in the educational process. It is necessary to evaluate students' progress. All stakeholders, including administration, students, teachers, and families, must be held to high standards in order to ensure that academic goals are achieved. Having high expectations does not mean being hard on everyone. Often I tell my students that if I don't hold you to high standards, it would be like me saying, I don't believe in you. As a leader, if you set high standards, high expectations, people will meet them, but you have to give them the tools they need to be successful. Ron Clark says you must hold yourself accountable for meeting those expectations, make everything that needs to be done clear, and find ways to lift people up and let them shine. Even above academic success, mental and emotional well-being of students, family, and staffs is important. Students cannot learn if they are not healthy in mind and body. Families cannot provide, and teachers cannot pour their knowledge and love onto those students. Mental health support, trauma, and culturally sensitive environments, and access to out of school programs are imperative in at-risk populations especially. Students have so many forces outside of the school, including family, social media, traumatic and abusive situations, that school must be a haven for them, but we can't do it alone. More now than ever, in the age of COVID-19, all parts of the community need to work together with education as a foundation. Education as a whole is under great scrutiny, and there are many people on all sides with the opinion of what to do. Teachers have so many responsibilities, including developing effective classroom management, lesson plans, building relationships with students and their families, assisting in extracurricular activities, and other duties. Sometimes I know they feel that they get very little in return. Knowing the job they have, an effective leader gives all the support they can and treats teachers professionally by providing the resources needed to meet those high expectations and opportunities for professional growth. Also, to develop the next batch of effective administrators. Being a leader in education is one of the most important public service careers. It is the driving force to ensure the prosperity of our society. Education is the foundation for a well-functioning society. Without it, we will crumble. My students know that I treat them like little adults. And I explain how their expectations in school are not that different from what their expectations as an adult in a society will be. Maybe I wouldn't say it like this, but I also feel like adults are like big kids. They need many of the same things we give to children to be successful. Rita Pearson said, every kid deserves a champion, someone who will never give up on them, who understands the power of connection and insists that they can become the best that they can be. Every person who is involved in the educational process needs a champion to speak positivity and garner a sense of collective efficacy. Leaders in schools have the challenge of creating an equitable environment for all students and educators to succeed. There are many pieces to the puzzle to make this possible, and with collaboration from all stakeholders, it is possible. Thank you.